to a new episode of FairTalks. I'm Lisa Marie Bosbach and I'm joined today by Micha Fritz, co-founder of Viva con Agua, a global organization working to ensure access to clean drinking water and basic sanitation for everyone, everywhere. It's a huge undertaking for a problem that's deeply interconnected because access to water isn't just about hydration, it touches on human rights, gender equality, health and education. In many communities, especially in the Global South, it is women and girls who bear the burden of collecting water, which often involves walking for hours each day. And strikingly, 1 in 3 schools globally still lacks basic drinking water services, according to recent stats by UNESCO. We're curious to explore what drives Viva con Agua's approach, how they work across regions, and what lessons can be drawn from their journey over the past 2 decades. So let's dive right in. Thanks so much for being here, Micha.
You're more than welcome.
Could you start by introducing yourself and your work a bit more within Viva con Agua and beyond?
Of course, it's my pleasure. Basically, my friend, I grew up with him. We know each other since we were very young. He was a professional soccer player at FC St. Pauli, and he had the idea to use his privileges as a person who's in the media, as a professional football player. You can say bananas are red, and the newspaper would print it. So basically, yeah, he wanted to give something back and to do something for society, especially because of the background of the club. It's a very left-wing, culturally engaged, socially, politically engaged club called FC St. Pauli in the heart of Hamburg. And he used to play there 20 years ago. And we started Viva con Agua without knowing actually most things you said about the global south at the moment, about NGO, about social business, about how to support other people, and all these things. We learned it on the way, sometimes the easy way, sometimes the hard way, and now we're doing it for 20 years, supported like roughly 4 million people with the access to clean drinking water. Way too little still, a long way to go, and we try to make it as joyful as possible, with a lot of fun, with using universal languages to attract young people, because they love the music, they love the arts, they love inspiration, they love sports, comedy, whatever. So give it to them, because everybody in this world knows that sometimes on different levels the world is fucked up. We don't have to communicate it all the time. We also have to communicate this, but this is not our job. Our job is more to inspire people and make them active in the least amount of time, in very short.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting approach for sure. And given the complexity and scale of the issue you also just touched on again, what are Viva con Agua's core pillars in addressing it, and what does that look like on the ground?
Basically, you have to separate in a way Viva con Agua on a way what we do in the so-called Western world to raise funds, raise awareness, and then on the other hand, in the global south, where the projects are, where the water projects are. It's sometimes very fluid because we want to connect these worlds. It's one word, basically. It's not different words, but still there are differences. But we started Viva con Agua also in Uganda, in South Africa. So it's also Ugandan South African NGO. It's not only in Germany and Switzerland, Austria, and so on. So the first action we did, and I think it's very it fits perfectly as a good example for Viva con Agua and the way we're working, is we collect cups on the whole music festival industry. So we go on the big festivals like Hurricane Southside, 70,000 people are coming, big bands are on stage, like for the Green Day is playing there or whatever, like for the international people. And these bands make an announcement on stage to throw all the cups on stage or to donate it to Viva con Agua. And we run around. These cups are hard plastic cups, have a deposit of €1, and the people can donate it to our organization. Psychologically, they already lost the euro, because the moment they spent it and they drunk, have a good party time, gone. And the same is with the volunteers. The volunteers get the ticket for free, so they have it's an all profit situation. They have a nice time, but also get engaged for a higher purpose than just dancing. Although dancing is a purpose already. So this is what at the end brought us there to have like now a network of 10, 15,000 volunteers that engage in Viva Con Agua on a cup deposit party hedonistic music experience level. So and then the social business side came to the Viva Con Agua world. But before, everything we did was just volunteer based, and then we started to basically do something which doesn't make sense, to sell bottled water. You don't need bottled water in Germany. Why? Because you have tap water and the water quality is perfect. So, and if it's not perfect coming out of your blah blah blah, then put in a filter. So, but socially, water is a human right and shouldn't have a price tag at all. Economically, it's 1,000 times the price you pay for tap water in comparison to bottled water. And ecologically, you have to produce the bottle, you have to produce the what's the thing?
The cap.
Yeah, the cap, thanks, the etiquette, the label, and you have to transport it, logistics from A to B to B to C, D, and so on. So it doesn't make sense. Still, we sell it to have a social alternative to Coke, Nestle. I want to say the names of them because they do privatization in the world and make huge profits with water. And there is no water company in the world. You can't produce water. Water is there. So you just sell it, and you sell the resources of the whole world, not only of humanity, of plants, of animals, of Mother Nature, Father Nature, whatever nature, but our nature. And so it's in a way it's ridiculous. Yeah. And only last thing to sum up, because I'm always wondering why there is still so many antisocial alternatives out there. Like the water in the Viva Con Agua world, it's a social alternative in a very competitive market where it's just about making money.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
So I'm curious, you already said about the difference, or that you work in the global south and the global north and kind of trying to build a bridge as well. But what are your key areas of operating then in the global south, and can you give an example of what that looks like
Absolutely.
on the ground there?
I mean, one of the key countries and areas where we're operating is Ethiopia, is the Amara region in the north. Some know it from the droughts of the 70s, 80s. Yeah, huge droughts every year. It's getting worse. Climate change. It has a lot of challenges. These areas. It's one of the hottest, not the hottest, but most dry areas in the world. So it's very, very, very dry. And for instance, you have to drill for a borehole like 120 meter. That's also the reason why it's very expensive. So a borehole there is roughly between 12 to 25K. It depends on how often you check for the water and the water is coming out or it's not coming out. And basically we have we had one big donor, which was the biggest donation we ever received. It was 8 million.
Wow.
Then we thought, what can we do on the long-term, most sustainable level? And then we thought, okay, let's buy a drilling machine. And this is also maybe why Viva Con Agua is sometimes unique. We didn't just bought a drilling machine. You have to buy it. You have 3 or 4 big companies who produce things like that. We bought it in Italy because it was the best conditions. And then we asked a friend of us, he's a UK-based artist, to go there and paint the whole drilling machine. So it's like an artwork and it's very beautiful. Why I'm telling that is really because the drilling machine is then coming, is now in Ethiopia since many years, 7, 8 years now already, and drilled like more than 280 boreholes there. and supported like I think 300,000 people roughly with clean water, and it's drilling one bowl after the other. But when the drilling machine is coming to your place, of course, it's bringing the water, but it also should bring joy and inspiration to the people. And it's something different if you come with just a car or an artwork. So we
Mm.
always try to communicate on another level also. Illiteracy rate is very high. So sometimes it's more easy to communicate via these universal languages like music
Mm.
or arts or to raise awareness. And also it's more in the brains if you read something or see a theater, the way, for instance, also the sanitation is a major topic, of course, and it's also connected, like you said, the gender topic is so connected to the water and the economical way. I mean, it's only, I think, 200 million hours a day kids and women run for clean water.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You have to imagine only a day. So the economically disaster because in these times they can't start a small business, they can't go to school, learn for better, they can't have a good time, they can't have whatever. So they have to take care of the basic needs of life. And this you
Mm.
also have to keep in mind. That's also why it's on a structural level downgrading these countries and not empowering the country. So water is also empowerment because if you water is everything, water is
Mm.
really, I think water is everything which yeah, in a way supports people.
Mm-hmm. You already just touched on a bit on how it is to work with these local communities, that there may be also language barriers, etc., illiteracy. How do you ensure that your solutions that you implement there are adapted to local needs and grounded in local knowledge, rather than simply replicating maybe models across regions? I can imagine that that's quite a challenge, and I'm curious how you navigate this.
uh, First I want to definitely clarify that there are also language barriers in the Western world. I
Yeah.
mean, on different levels. So sometimes I go to conferences and they give a shit about social impact. Or
Hmm.
somebody said, if you want to change the world with impact or without impact, you're here. Uh, you can't change the world without impact. So there are also barriers here on very levels, and this is just one perspective. It's because sometimes this the problem with the global south and how you call it, and in former times they said this stupid idea of third world and stuff.
Mm.
So this is why they call it now the global south, and some people don't understand what it's meant. It's meant that it's economically underprivileged or underfinanced in some ways, and also other issues. But there are also the other sides where you think here our way of living is very um yeah, just the wrong way. But this is
Yeah,
another
for
topic.
sure.
So I think the only chance our organization has to start Viva Con Agua in Uganda and in South Africa and integrate Ugandans, integrate South Africans, integrate Ethiopians, integrate people from the locals, because it comes on the one hand with white saviorism and all this media blah blah blah, but this is the media blah blah, which is also important. You should care about which media you produce and replicate and reproduce because communication is creating reality on a long term or on short term also. So,
Hmm.
but on a structural level, I don't speak the language of Uganda. What shall I do there? I mean, I speak the language of some universal languages like making jokes and stuff and playing soccer and stuff, but on a on a on a real level of development work, you need to integrate local people on all levels, but not only integrate them. No, they should run the projects. They should decide which projects we are doing and why we are doing, because they know how their people maybe cheat, just the way
Hmm.
I know how Germans cheat. And so where I see in Germany corruption, where Ugandan guy sees corruption in Uganda way different than I do. So
Mm-hmm.
I think this is on so many levels, and the cultural barriers and the language and history, the understanding of like the complexity and stuff. So that's the reason why I really believe in, of course, diverse teams, and also to integrate in both sides. They also decide which would work best, and is also if Ugandans support us here in doing marketing,
Hmm.
how we communicate things, how we fundraise, etc., etc.
So basically, if I understand it correctly, you provide maybe tools and infrastructure and kind of help creating a framework, but the projects are led by the local communities. Is that?
Yes, yes, we're always working together with local NGOs also as partners.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing is actually bringing in these universal languages to communicate
Okay.
these topics. I mean, I just came back from Uganda, and I didn't trust in the idea from the very beginning, to be honest, although I'm a normally trustworthy guy.
Mm-hmm.
But when they told me about dancing, communicating the topic of sanitation in the global south, I said, okay, let's give it a try if you think it's. But the way they do it is unseen. They they developed a dance which is so simple to communicate how to use the toilet, how to knock at the door in a dance move, and to see if somebody's in. Then open the door in a dance move, go inside, close the door rightly, properly, sit down, take off the pants, sit down, do their thing, clean their ass, clean their hands afterward, close the door, everything like this whole process. And I think you can't, because the whole community is laughing about it, of course. If
Mm-hmm.
you have to imagine, I did it also just to make people laugh about me, to not take myself too seriously. But the women, the older women who did it before me, the whole community was laughing because, of course, it's in a way embarrassing. Talking about shit is still a taboo topic, and it's
For sure.
stigmatized. So, and actually, it's not embarrassing. It's the most normal thing. Imagine we wouldn't do it. We would implode, explode, whatever bloat, but we would definitely have a major problem.
For
So
sure,
it's
yeah.
very, very important. And you can see so many things on sanitation and shit. That's the reason why shout out to Goldheimer for all the work they're doing. These are the eco toilets of Viva Con Agua ecosystem. And we also have the social toilet paper. But the way they communicating was for me unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
We had a dancer, very famous dancer there, Noel Goes Crazy, and he also did it, and the community just appreciated also him coming from Germany, which he's a like really 40 million whatever TikTok star. And when he did it, also the people really appreciated that he came all the way. I mean, it's the Yumbe district. It's very, you have to drive 14 hours in a bump on a bumpy road. Maybe you get the sound.
Yeah.
And in the north of Uganda, near to the Sudan border, and it's really like um, the people really appreciate us coming there, telling them about our lives, and also taking their stories home to so. And this is the first level of connection, and
Yeah.
many more levels hopefully come. Yeah.
Yeah. And building this bridge basically, which I think is a really important factor.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to get back to the human rights aspect and specifically how providing clean drinking water empowers women and advances gender equality in these regions and communities you work with. Could you maybe even give a specific example?
I mean, water is a human right. It's still since 2010, it's part of the UN Charter. So it's a human right, but still so many people don't have it. And like we already spoke about, the time you spend, the energy you spend on collecting water is incredible. And so it's connected with everything. And it's also connected with all the industries. That's the problem. We all know about the CO2 footprint. because of a big marketing manipulation campaign by actually Beyond Petrol. I think it was in 2008. It was 200 million funded, and it actually what it does to my perspective, it's only my perspective, but it changes the responsibility, or it transforms the responsibility from the producers to the consumers, because you think about your CO2 footprint. And yes, you should think about your CO2 footprint. But Nestle, because I already said them, on a different level. And they are producing all these things. If you, of course, you can think about what you buy in a supermarket, but you don't have a real social ecological alternatives. All the products are from the same companies, three, four companies, same kind of blah blah blah. Only the marketing is different. So you don't even have a choice. Yeah. And in a water footprint, it's a little bit like that, only different because nobody thinks so much about it. Like this jeans I'm wearing, yeah, it's probably 10,000 liters of virtual water, which is not coming back into the normal water system circle of the world. Meaning, countries like Bangladesh or Ethiopia, if we still stay in Ethiopia, they produce a lot of tulpen, like these flowers.
Tulips.
On from Addis Ababa to our project area, there are thousands of square meters of these bullshit roses and blah blah blah, which then going to Netherlands, Germany, and all the world. And then we give our wives as or the other way or whatever way or whatever to on the Valentine's Day. And I always think, yeah, this is like these are blood flowers in a on a way, because of course they produce so much, need so much water to produce and then ship into another country. It would be only that you get the idea. The jeans, the flowers, you don't see the water in it. You export them to other countries. It would be like putting millions of gallons of water on a ship and bring it to no country would do it.
Yeah.
But you do it hidden. That's the reason why it's so important where you buy, what you buy, and how you produce, especially not because the producers have the real power in the world.
Could you give a tangible example of what an advancement for women's rights on the ground looks like in one of your projects? How does the life for the women that change?
Yes, absolutely. Like water sanitation hygiene includes menstruational hygiene. So it doesn't make sense to not include it on all levels. So basically, all the projects of us also care about the menstruational aspect, about yeah, giving space, safe space for women, for school kids, for young girls when they start menstruating, that they have a place where they can do it in dignity and in peace, where they can lay down if the cramps hit, and also have yeah, hygienical possibilities to wash themselves. It's not that easy. Of course, you have to imagine if countries who don't have sometimes enough to eat or to drink or for school uniforms or books or whatever, so like basic needs, then of course they also don't have these products. So there's a huge gap between the worlds, I think, or between like the Western world and the global South. And it's everything starts with education. It's very interesting for me to see young boys talking about menstruation. I think this is the game changer also in concerning acceptance. It's about me knowing way more about menstruation. It's crazy. I sometimes go on streets and ask people, boys and men, about menstruation, and we know shit about it. Although I'm a father of two, I'm a son of a doctor, a brother of a doctor, an ambulance driver myself, and got two kids and one beautiful wife, and I know shit about menstruation. I know very, very little, and the answers are hilarious. I ask how much blood the menstruating person loses, and some say 6 liters. I
Oh,
mean, six
that
liters
would be
is like
problematic.
you would die every fucking time you got your period. Yeah. So, and it's on a way funny, and funny sometimes helps to transform and raise awareness, but it's also sad. So I think we should step up our game, and I think it always works with all genders and all people, but the game changers, I think, are really young boys, because if they know about it and they protect their sisters, support their sisters, then they're becoming good, maybe partners, good bosses, good whatever, leaders in the world, just the way, because young girls, of course, although they are still a lack, and also if you ask young women, but it's another topic.
Yeah. Two more questions, if we can.
Yes.
As a co-founder, you've seen the organization evolve over nearly 2 decades. How has this journey shaped your view on solutions to big problems?
Interesting. I really believe it only works if it's simple, sexy, structural, social, and economically functioning with political backup.
Okay.
You have to change the narratives to change the structures, and we are still in the in the avant-gardistic way of changing narratives. And what's happening now with Trump and Prism and all these others, people thinking it's looping us back.
For sure. And is there a solution that you think to clean drinking water that you feel is overlooked or underrepresented and that you would still like to tap into?
All the billionaires pay their fucking taxes would probably solve the water prices. Probably only the money Elon Musk spent on Twitter to make it a right-wing platform would probably, I haven't calculated it, but these are something like 40 billion. So somebody please calculate it. A borehole is 10,000 euros. It supports like 500 to 1,000 people, only roughly calculation. And Elon spent 40 billion on Twitter and lost like 30 or something or whatever because of the market value. So I think the money is not the problem. The money is there in the world. It's not the problem. It's how we use and for what things we use money and who is owning the money. That's the only thing.
Yeah, for sure. And if you could send one message to the global community about water, justice, and collective action, what would it be?
Pay your fucking taxes, brothers.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.